Wealth Principle 40, Keystone Habits. My name is Walter Morello, and we've been traveling through this 52 weeks. Over the last 40 weeks, we've been going through a bunch of different wealth principles. Now, Keystone Habits, when we talk about them, let me tell you a story. Everybody has had a moment in their life where they recognized that life wasn't going the way they wanted it to go. And it was not because something had changed in their life. It was because they had done something very particular over time. And one of those basic things that you can do wrong in life, not you maybe, but other people outside of this community, we'll put it on them, is not smiling to people when you meet them. Basic introduction of a smile. Some people missed it early on. Some people missed how to handshake. We actually talked about that at the summit. We were discussing the differences between handshakes, the different angles, the different tensions, what their purposes are, and how to introduce yourself to the right people. When you lack that skill, you can find that people are difficult to influence. When you don't know how to listen to others, you can find that it's difficult to get them to listen to you. Hence the camera. If you've ever had a hard time getting somebody to do what you asked, or think the way you want them to think, or do something you want them to do, excellent. Now, one of the reasons for lacking these skills is not because we didn't always want people to do what we wanted them to do. One of the reasons for not having enough money is not because we don't want more money. It can generally be traced back to our habits. And what we're going to talk about today are the Keystone Habits. There are many Keystone Habits for every different skill set, every different desire or dream that you have in your life. In fact, what we're going to go through today are if there were Keystone Habits to the Keystone Habits. Hands to the camera if that sounds like an interesting topic for business owners, for entrepreneurs. Absolutely. This has been a life-changing process for me, and I want it to be something that we talk about often. I don't want this just to be one principle that we talk about one time a year. You should be, and I use the word should very carefully in this community. I'm going to suggest that you use this Keystone Habit research anytime you take on a new goal, anytime there's something that you want. And a perfect example of this would be Mike Shine recently was talking to me about his Tesla shares and his goal. And so I took on the same goal. And it was because I recognized that there's no way he couldn't reach it over 10 years with the power of the habit itself. Now, his goal is 10,000 shares of Tesla. At first glance, you're like, whoa, that seems impossible. But after over 10 years, it is possible the stock would split, and it's possible the stock could split multiple times. So if early on he acquires enough, and what he said to me was just buy a stock a week, Walter. Just start with the Keystone Habit of buy a stock a week. And for me, that is totally feasible. For some of you, you may look at that and say, that's difficult, impossible. But if you start with the Keystone Habit of buy maybe a quarter of a stock a week, hands the camera if that makes sense. You're grasping that it gets the habit going, gets the momentum. And Keystone Habits eventually lead to reaching massive goals. Now, I genuinely believe that Mike could do this faster because he's got the mindset. He wants it so bad. Like over time, these Keystone Habits, as you get closer, you're going to learn more about them. Hence the camera, if that makes sense. You understand that over time, we learn a little bit more about what we're actually doing. Excellent. So the wealth principles are designed for your success to double your income. They're designed to help you become a millionaire faster. They're designed for net worth, acquiring and instilling net worth, and acquiring passive income. So if you're not interested in making more money, I'm going to strongly suggest jump off the call now. It doesn't make sense for people who want to stay broke, who are perfectly fine being complacent. This is for hustlers. This is for grinders. This is for the people who want more. This is for dreamers. This is for people who aspire, who want to become something. And as you know, I'm on a mission to build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. So this is also for you people who are looking to inspire others. Hands to the camera if you're looking to be one of those. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Glad to be in the room with you. So the first Keystone Habit is, it really goes back to knowledge, right? The first one is really about identifying this, and there's different layers of knowledge, different layers of what we're going to do here. But the first is identify what you want, right? It's kind of, you got to know more, right? First one's know more, or know the values. But as we're doing it, it's like, who noticed at the summit? Who was at the 100 Millionaire Summit with us? Hands to camera if you're at the 100 Millionaire Summit. All right. Who noticed day one, we were like goals, right? Day one was all goals. Like, let's get clarity. Let's get commitment. Let's, there's a lot of this esoteric kind of little research into you. And then once we have that, then we can move forward with what the other keystone principles are. And you're going to notice that the keystone principles really do follow a lot of what we did at the summit. Who thinks that's cool? We spent 3 days, 3 different topics, keystone topics to move people forward, become millionaires. So keystone principle number 1 is you've got to get the right knowledge. First is the goal, but you don't spend all your time on the goal. That's like, okay, once you identify, you make sure it's healthy for you, make sure it's healthy for the people around you, make sure it doesn't interfere with any other aspect of any other person's life, so it benefits everybody who would be involved. Awesome. That's a good goal. That's something worth going after. Then you want to get the information to attain that goal. Start asking the right people, right? Start getting the right research going, books, mentors, or local people in your market. So real estate investors, hands to the camera. I want to make sure that I'm targeting this to the right people. Where are my real estate investors at? Ladies and men who are looking to buy real estate, looking to own real estate, looking to be landlords, landladies. Where you at? Hell yeah. Awesome. My people. So this principle, I'm going to gear it towards real estate investors. Is that okay? This week's wealth principle? All right, cool. I like the permission. So this is where you learn how to evaluate deals. This is where you learn how to evaluate your market. Keystone principle 1 is know your market, know what's going on, get the knowledge so that you can logically, like confidently make decisions. So you've got to know your market. And you do this through going into open houses. You do this by getting on Zillow. You do it from talking to realtors. Get the information. You're in information mode, information overload, but watch out because every habit has a dark side to it, right? Terry talks about habits all the time, how they could be complacency. So we'll call this keystone routines, right? But every habit has a dark side. And the dark side of habit number 1 is analysis paralysis, right? You can be researching so much that you actually scare yourself, that you actually knock yourself out of the game. So as you're doing your research, you have to set a timeline on when you're going to have all the research done. For Ron and I, when we get into a new market, we set ourselves a week. Sometimes it's 3 days. 3 days to a week to get all the research done. So we go in and we look at as much property, as much information, as much data as we possibly can before we go and move forward. Now, if you're new to real estate investing, you may have to do some more research. There's a great book called The ABCs of Real Estate Investing by, oh man, I just had his name, Ken McElroy. So Ken is with Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he wrote an amazing book for evaluating deals, for figuring it out. Hands to the camera if you've already read the book. If you've already read the ABCs of Real Estate Investing, awesome. And if you're looking to get more information on how to evaluate deals and you want a great calculator, Mitch Jaworski has set up a calculator right on his website called Scaredy Cat Guide. So you go to Scaredy Cat Guide Real Estate Calculator, and who's already been there? Who's already checked it out? Put in their deals? Hell yeah. Smart. This is one smart community. So go to the real estate calculator and run a bunch of deals. Just go on MLS. You ask where to find the deals, go on MLS and do those deals. It is paramount for your education, but set a timeline, right? If you want to evaluate maybe 20, 30 deals, that's probably all you need in your community or your city, then bang. As soon as that's done, you're on to the next. And don't take a month to do this. You can get this done in 3 to 4 days, a week at max. And then the next step for any success, but we're going to focus on real estate. And this is for entrepreneurs who are in the room. Who is an entrepreneur in the room who's not in real estate? Hands to the camera if you're an entrepreneur who's not buying right now, who's not investing. Okay. We got a few. I know on Facebook, there's a ton of them. So I'll also say, if you're not doing real estate, the principles still work. Right? It's the same exact thing as everything else in life. I'm just going to be very focused on real estate because that's my people. That's my tribe. Take action, right? Step 2 is take action. For real estate investors, it's seek out properties, right? Get in touch with the realtors, get in touch with the wholesalers, get in touch with the actual sellers, do the mailers, do the door knocking, do the phone calls, build the list, get the text going. Get out, go take action. Once you know how to evaluate a deal, once you know what your desire is, you know how to identify whether it is a deal or not, You gotta go. It's go time. Get in front of as many people who have the asset as you possibly can. Hands to the camera if you recognize this keystone habit is called action, right? It works in all aspects of life. Who's ever been single before? Ever been single? Yes, awesome. Who's still single? Still got that? The affliction? Well, who's solved it in the past? Who has in the past solved that? Not been single at one time. Excellent. Okay. How'd you solve it, right? You went out. You did not stay home, right? Finding the person to spend the rest of your life with or the next 3 weeks with doesn't happen at the house. You got to go take action. Some of you had to go take action, swiping left and swiping right. But the idea is that action was taken. You identified the person you were looking for, and then you were like, nope, 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 nope. Yes, nope, nope, nope. Some of you are like, yep, 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 yep. Anybody know that person? No, when I was single, I had 2 phones. I was on like Tinder and Bumble. I'm like, both phones, right, 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 right. Anybody will do. Let's just get it going. But if I'd focused on step one, right, and I treated it with respect, I would have been with Darina 4 years ago. Does that make sense? If I'd really gotten clear about what I wanted 4 years ago, I wouldn't have wasted so much time. And that's why these are keystone habits to your success. So find properties, take action, get out. And the next one is the right people. Once you have a deal, once you know it's a good deal, now you got to connect with the people who have that deal, whether it's the seller themselves, the real estate agent, or the wholesaler. Once you have, like, step 3, the keystone habit to everything in life is begin the negotiations. Connect with the right people. So step 1, right? Keystone habits are you identify what you want and you get the information around what it would look like, really clear picture around what it would look like. Get your vision tight. Step 2 is you start seeking it out. You start doing the actions to receive it, to go out and bring this to you. And step 3 is once you have identified it in real life, because you visualized it, now you've identified it in real life, you take it, you put the offer in. And as a real estate investor, it may require having some money. It may require, like we were talking with Kevin earlier, it may require negotiating, seller financing, or a different form of, let's say, non-conventional financing, like private money. And then you take down the deal, right? You go through the process of negotiating and taking it down. So step 3 is a further level of action. It is a further level of commitment. The seeking versus the taking. There's hunting versus the killing. There's showing up and negotiating versus the close. Is this making sense? In life and in real estate investing, it is the people who have learned these keystone habits who do the most deals, who do the best deals, who are the happiest. Hands to the camera if you know this is something you could implement this week. This is a lesson that you could use in your life this week. What really impresses me about this community is that everybody on here has at some point gone out and put in offers. Everybody who's got their cameras turned on right now are people who've been in the community for some time. Some of you are new, and let's give our new members a round of applause, by the way. People who we met at the summit, people who joined our Alchemist Mastery program. Awesome. It's very good to see you. And many of you are from the mentorship. You came through a year ago, you came in 6 months ago, you came in over a year ago, and you've been successful because you've taken action. And what we did in the mentorship was gave you that kind of guidance, that visualization, that knowing where to go, and connected you in a lot of cases with the right people. Hands to the camera if we connected you with the right people to do the deals that you're doing right now. Awesome. Excellent. That's so important to us. That's why we make sure each other knows each other's contacts. So I want to blow up the chat right now with what you're good at. Just type in the chat. What is your, and by the way, not a lot of things, just one thing. Everybody gets one thing, because a confused mind says no. If you got too many things, here's another keystone habit. When you meet somebody, know what your one thing is, right? When I was a real estate investor in Fall River, that was all I did. I would let everybody know I buy real estate in Fall River. Super freaking clear. Does that make sense? Even when I was an agent in Fall River, I would go to Boston. I would never be in my market. I'd be outside of my market selling my market. So I'd be in Boston and I would tell people that I am a real estate agent in Fall River. I only work with investors. boom, I said everything that they wanted to hear. Does that make sense? Be very clear. When I was looking for a woman, or you guys, if you're looking for men, no big deal, right? This still works, I promise. When I was looking for a woman, I said this to any girl that talked to me: I am single and I'm looking to mingle. And it made it very clear to the person I was talking to that I was available. Does that make sense? What my intentions were. And I said, I'm looking for, what I say, Dorina, I'm looking for the one. I know what she looks like. I know how she acts. And I know exactly what I'm looking for. And I said, I'm looking for the one. And anytime I said that to a girl who was not the one, I found out really quickly. Does that make sense? And I'd be like, this is what she looks like. This is what she's doing in her life. This is where she's going. So clarity in your message, clarity in what you're looking to create for yourself, clarity in your vision for yourself, clarity in the people you want to be around. I started off life pretty early. I said, I only want to hang out with good people. I knew that. I said, I make good people, good money. My first USP when I was in sales, when I became a real estate agent back in 2013, I make good people, good money. I was unyielding in this decision. And anytime I came close to bending on that, I hated the client so much. And I don't think I ever made money from a client that I couldn't stand, except for, and by the way, there's a way to make money from people you don't like. When I would send referrals to somebody else, I get a grumpy client that I couldn't stand, I'd send them to a grumpy agent I couldn't stand, and I would get money. They like attracts like, they loved each other. They're like, oh, best client ever. Thank you so much. I was like, holy shit. You guys just understand each other. That's all that was, because I could not fathom how to spend any time with them. And that's part of what the mentorship was designed for, was to get around more good people, to get around the right people to build business with, to get around the right people to expand yourself, to be comfortable. I found, maybe you're like this, is that as I grew, as I became more successful, it was almost like my friends couldn't hang. My friends couldn't talk about the same things. I was doing stuff that was so different from what they were doing. I wasn't interested in partying or going out. I wasn't interested in sports. And I used to pretend to be interested in sports. Anybody ever pretend to sport before? Where you're listening, they're like, yeah, Tom Brady, fucking get it, bro. Like, as I became more and more successful, I became more and more comfortable with, yeah, I don't fucking sport. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. God bless you. I'm glad the game went well for you. Did it go well? Did it not? Like, I don't know. And as I got more comfortable with that, it became more abrasive to the people I grew up with. And by the way, if you watch sports, I really, like, God bless you, right? Like, I genuinely mean that. I just, don't ask me about it. I won't know, because my sport is following Elon Musk. It's following Bezos. It's following what's successful. It's following you guys and gals. Like, I like knowing what you're doing more than I like to know what's on the TV, right? Because some of you are finding things out that I didn't know about. Some of you are sending me cryptocurrency. Some of you are sending me deals. Some of you are sending me strategies that you just tried or did or heard about from somebody else, tax strategies, right? So, and then sometimes your successes motivate me to go and teach somebody else. Thank you, by the way, for sharing all of your successes. I've gotten a lot this week and last week, just messages of things that are working out for you. I love that, right? It makes me excited about life. It makes me excited about what we're doing here. I know when I share it with the coaches, the success stories from each one of you, like, the coaches are like, man, like, I cannot believe this. This is what we do. Alchemist, right? Alchemist Nation. Let's keep growing. Let's keep building. So thank you. You're going to find that in this community, there's new friends. Who's made new friends just by hanging out with us? Just meeting new people. Yeah. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. One of the biggest complaints I had for myself for success was I didn't have good people to hang around with. Now I have a tribe. I have a choice, man. Every weekend, somebody is flying into Tampa. Like very few people in the community live here, but every weekend I've got an opportunity. Somebody seems to be flying in. And like, every weekend I'm introduced to somebody here in Tampa. And so I never have that lack of people anymore. So whatever you lack now, as soon as you let go of the lack and decide to serve, you're going to get an abundance of it. Another keystone habit: law of detachment. Let go. Don't force it so hard. And for the people in the mentorship, I want to give each one of you a round of applause for your success, your stories, thank you so much for the testimonials. It means a lot to me. For the real estate investors, and by the way, this is the other thing that I've noticed about the people who have joined one of our programs: you're taking action. The people who are putting in offers are the ones closing deals. I see it every day. The ones who are putting in offers, they're following this process to identify what a good deal looks like. Then they're going after it. And then they're putting in offers once they get there, lining up financing, getting things going. Like that's the keys, the keystone habits to success as a real estate investor. As you wrote these down, hands to the camera if you wrote these down, by the way. I didn't suggest to, but you did, right? Smart people take notes. Smart people with goals who want to take themselves seriously take notes on things. Unfortunately, we're recording these. We're having the descriptions written out and we're putting blogs out. So like you can review these later on. I actually just posted a blog yesterday for this principle from last year. And you can go on the website and at any point, check out one of the wealth principles, get a deeper review, get a deeper understanding of what the action steps were, what the principles were, and how you can implement them. And that is something that I'm committed to doing because I genuinely love seeing people succeed. Who knows that success for another person could feel good? Who's had kids, right? Who's had nieces, nephews, grandkids, and they like just like seeing those little people succeed. Well, it doesn't always have to be little people. Who's had a brother, a sibling, a spouse, and you see them succeed, and you're like, damn, like that makes you happy. Who's do we have any teachers in the room? Any teachers, trainers, speakers? Yeah, coaches. But you know how good it feels to see somebody who has trusted you with a serious topic, right? Success, finance. This is not like a small thing to talk about. This is big for people, right? This is emotional. There's all sorts of emotions around success. And somebody who trusts us with the ability to talk about that is huge to us. So when you succeed, it's like, oh, thank God. Like we don't feel any pressure on whether the advice was good. We feel pressure on whether we inspired you to do the advice was. Does that make sense? Like the principles, we know, we got the principles locked. It's we get emotional around like, will they do it though? Like, did I get it to the point where they can feel comfortable with doing it? Did I get over any objections they had about this next action step? Answer the camp, that's like the hardest part for us. It's not whether we're telling you the right thing. Information is for free. Like go online, Google all this. It's the inspiration that gets somebody to go and take action. That is what people come to us, trust us for. That's the reason that the mentorship has a price ticket on the side. We go to sleep not knowing until we see that text that says, yeah, I did it. Right. And by the way, who wants the secret to happiness? Who'd like the secret to happiness? Yes. Are you sure? I gotta get all the hands to do this one. Secret to happiness. Okay. Write this down if you have a pen and paper. And if you don't, it's okay. You may remember it. I don't expect anything from anybody. I literally have no standards for your success. I know what I know is you're capable of. I have that in my head. I'm fully aware of it. But when I give you advice, I don't know that today's the day you're going to take action. I never put anything on it. I'm 100% emotionally detached. I say, look, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. It's their problem. I've given them everything I could. In that moment, I cut off my emotions. I say, I gave them everything that I could, moving on. And so when you do something, you take action, I am genuinely fucking shocked. And it sends such a thrill through my body. I'm like, whoa, like, great job. Like, awesome. I can't believe you did it. You crushed it. It's absolutely amazing. Keeps me happy at all times. Does that make sense? Like, think about the people in your life. If you had no expectations of them, like you have your standards and you communicate your standards clearly, like don't ever let anybody walk over you, right? Never. You have your standards and you be willing to walk away from those people. But you have to have no expectations. If they fail, be like, okay, maybe I can communicate better. If they fail too many times, maybe I just remove them from my life entirely. Like this is clearly a failure. They don't want success, but not emotionally, right? Just whatever. Come and go. With students, if somebody comes and they're not taking action, I told you at the summit, right? I have $100,000 program where like if somebody doesn't take action in the first 3 months, I just give them their money back. I don't want to work with somebody who doesn't take action. You paid me that much and you're not doing the things I'm telling you, get out. Like I've got enough. I'm not here for just making money. I'm here for success stories. I'm here to be able to brag about the successes of somebody who I've helped. Does that make sense? That's the point, right? Like to do the job well and then find somebody bigger who can do the job even better, right? Just keep looking for, and I know some of you on the call are those people and like you notch up every time. I'm absolutely blessed. We're all blessed to have the honor to be in your presence. So if you're one of those people and you know it, let's clap for everybody else in the room. You know what I'm talking about? So nobody feels left out. If you're one of those people who knows they're taking it to the next level, hell yeah, I see you. I recognize you. Real recognizes real. And if you're not part of the community, you haven't jumped into one of our programs, you haven't jumped into the mentorship or into Alchemist Mastery, and you want to learn more about it, how it works, the conversation with Dorina is probably the most valuable 15 minutes. Do not waste her time. Most valuable 15 minutes that you will ever have in your life. Dorina is, she's super knowledgeable. She's successful. She is, she's loving, she's caring. She wants to see everybody be successful. Who's already had a conversation with Dorina and knows that she genuinely in that 15, 20 minutes, she cares about what you're doing and your success. Awesome. So if you want to learn more about the mentorship, schedule a call with Dorina. You can use your Calendly link. We're dropping it in the chat. And then Dorina, can you also drop it on Facebook? If somebody wants to get in, they want to know what it's like to be part of this tribe. Look at all these beautiful, successful faces on here who are killing it, who are crushing it, who are rocking the brand. Who's wearing the shirt today? Who's got one of the shirts on? Awesome. Hell yeah. We're on a mission to build 100 millionaires. Put our names on deeds. Mission of millions. Yes, the summit. This is the place to do it. And because each week we tie one of these wealth principles to something, a core habit of everybody in the mentorship program is to read a book a week. Hands to the camera if you're ready to read a book this week. If you know it's going down. Hell yeah. Michael Shine, the keeper of the books, the legend, the legendary speaker of the summit, the 100 Millionaire Summit this year, who brought out his holistic attorney presence, his closing ability. Mike, what is the book this week?
All right. Thank you, Walter. Book of the week is The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. It is an amazing book. Talks all about what Walter was talking about, Keystone Habits. And it talks about, I wrote it down, cues, routines, and rewards are a way to get you to that. But beyond that, I mean, I recommend the book. It's one of those books, if you listen to me do these reviews before, I always like books with stories. And this book has some crazy stories. My favorite is about how Target saw that they figured out a way to find out that women were pregnant by what they were purchasing and were able to market to them. So it's just like sort of crazy stories about that. Procter & Gamble put out a product that you might know called Febreze, and they sent it all around the country, and it actually removed odors. Sounds amazing, right? Nobody liked it. And they realized that the reason is that the people who used it always, when they finished cleaning, wanted a clean smell. So when they were able to add the scent to it, which the product didn't even need the scent, but when they added it, suddenly the product exploded with sales. So it's just a really fun, it teaches you about habits, a good way to get yourself to do good habits. Like for me, when I was running a lot, I had my sneakers by the bed. So when I jumped out of bed, put the sneakers on, that was my Keystone habit, and I was out the door. So yeah, it's awesome in teaching lessons, but it's awesome also because it just has fun stories, and I love it. So yeah, Power Habit, great book. Recommend it. Thank you.
Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. The book of the week, and it is a book that everybody should read. Not gonna should all over you, but as a strong suggestion. So your success is up to you. Your success is something that you could attain today simply by making the decision, doing the research, going out and taking action. And then once the ideal opportunity is in front of you, seizing it. The way we manifest in this world is once something shows up in your mind, it is yours. The way you receive it is you take action, as you go and put that offer in, you go and do the research. So if you have seen it up here, you can achieve it. You've just got to move your body to that point. Open your mouth, speak to the right people, open the phone, text the right people, and then the deal is yours. The way this universe works, I'm going to say it again because it is so impactful. It is so real, is once you've seen it up here, it is already yours. The difference between the people who have what they see and the people who don't is the action step. That is how you receive. Just like You see the candy, you know you want it. It's not in your mouth tasting it until your hand reaches out and grabs it. Does that make sense? We grasp how this world works. This is not something holistic. This is not like, we manifest. It literally see it and then go do what it takes to get it. If the candy was on the top shelf, you might have to climb something. We get this. It's not always as easy as just grab the candy from the jar. But no matter what the goal, no matter what the skill, no matter what it is, there is always a principle to attaining of that skill. And you can do it. You can get there.